think there's one major thing that holds everybody back in life in one area or another, whether it be your fitness, your relationships, your career, hobbies, doesn't matter what it is. And it's a simple one, but it's hard to admit to ourselves. And that's simply the ability to take an outsider perspective and look brutally at who you are as a person and the habits and things you do in your life that are wrong or holding you back from the person you can become. For example, if you look at your health, I guarantee someone who is out of shape, is not healthy, is going to look at their diet. Maybe they eat junk food all the time. They work out once a week, if anything at all. And I guarantee you they'll look at it as an overview, and they will make excuses, they'll make justifications, and they'll be so easygoing on themselves to not admit the areas in which they're going wrong. For example, if they were to live with somebody else and the other person is buying all the groceries, they're buying junk food all the time, they're not buying anything healthy, I guarantee you they would look at their diet and say, hey, this person is buying all this bad food. The only thing I have around in my house is junk food, so that's why I eat the way that I do. And if they were to be brutally honest with themselves, they would say, yeah, I eat bad. What can I do to change it? I can go buy my own groceries. I can start not eating the cookies when they're out on the table, And that's just one example. And there's going to be next to nobody that's going to admit the hard part about that and say, hey, yeah, this is my fault and I'm doing something wrong. And the difference between your potential, who you can be, and who you are now is simply just admitting and being honest with yourself in those areas where you are doing things wrong. Maybe you spend too much time on your phone. Maybe you spend too much time watching TV. And if you can be honest with yourself and admit that and say, hey, yeah, I do spend too much time doing this or that, or I know that this thing's bad for me, I gotta stop doing that, then you're already miles and miles ahead of the people that don't even look at the things they're doing wrong as an issue, because they don't want to be strict with themselves. And I have a good example for this. And if your life was a movie and the audience is watching you on the screen and they're watching everything that you're doing every day on a day-to-day basis, every minute, what would the audience be yelling at you to do? What would they be screaming at the screen, yelling for you to do? Would it be to start working out more? Would it be to look for a job? Would it be to go back to school, to start studying more? It can be anything. But what would they be yelling at for you to do? And I know for a fact that there was just a handful of things that popped up in your mind of, hey, I could do this, or maybe I should do that. And I'm telling you right now, don't just push those to the side because that's the comfortable thing to do. Don't just exit off this video and forget about it. Really just sit with the things that just popped into your head and think about them for a moment and really digest. Why did those things instantly pop into your head? I bet it was subconscious. You probably didn't have to think about it, but you know yourself better than anybody else does. And nobody's going to hold your hand and make you admit all these things that you're doing wrong in your life. It needs to start with you. And all you have to do is be strictly honest with yourself. You don't have to be a bully to yourself and be so hard on yourself, saying, why are you doing this, why are you doing that, and saying, oh, I'm such a bad person, XYZ. You know what I mean? You don't have to do any of that. You can come at it with a friendly tone, because your mind is your friend. It's trying to be your friend here, and it's trying to help you be a better version of you. And the only reason that those thoughts were brought up is because some part deep down in your mind knows that the things you're doing are wrong, and they're holding you back from the person that you can become. And for some of the things, you might want to cut them out completely. If you're doing drugs or something like that, I know that's an extreme example, but if there's something that you do in your life that is illegal, or something that you truly know you would be 100 times better off if you completely cut it out. Then do it. I know it's hard, but take the steps towards doing that. And those are for the extreme examples. I know there's things like what I said before. Maybe you spend too much time on social media, on your phone, watching TV, stuff like that. And I'm not saying you have to cut that stuff out completely. Can you? Yes, you can. And there are people that do that, and they forego all those comforts because they want to be the best of the best at what they do, and that's okay. But if you want to take a more moderate approach, you can make a compromise and say, hey, I'm not going to watch any TV until I've already done everything I need to do for the day. And to me, that's a fair compromise. It's a lot better to do that than to go on TV as soon as you get home and, oh, there goes 5 hours and you haven't done any of the stuff that you needed to do. And there are examples, it's just one example of many, and you can tie in the things you do in your life with what I've just said. And the whole kind of point of this video is you need to be brutally honest with yourself. Like I said, it can be in a friendly sense. You don't have to bully yourself for the things you're doing wrong and the things you could be doing better, but at least acknowledging these things and admitting that they're harming you and stopping you from progressing and being a better version of you, then that's already the first step, because you can't start fixing a problem if you don't even admit you have it in the first place. So I want you to think about that, and I hope you don't just swipe off this video and not take into action anything I've talked about. I kind of made this video for myself because there's always room for improvement. There's things in my life that I want to be better at, and if I'm not honest with the things that hold me back, maybe I'm not eating as good as I could be, or sleeping as good as I should be, those things are not going to get fixed if I don't admit them myself. And I'm sure, like I said with the movie example, there's things that probably popped into your head that if you sit and think about and admit to yourself that, hey, you could do better in these areas, then that's the first step, and you're already off to the races. So I hope this helped in any sense. You got something valuable out of it. But thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.